All right, we're good.
Well, good evening, everybody. My name is Josh Duhon. I'm an SSC with the Juice Plus Company. Tonight we have our Healthy Living event, and we meet like this every Thursday night, have been now for, I think close to 4 years. And we're blessed every week to meet some fantastic people from all over the U.S., sometimes other parts of the world, who all have joined us in our very common theme of inspiring healthy living around the world. So tonight I'm going to give you guys just a little bit of a product overview, company history, and then I'm going to go straight to our guest speaker and her team for the evening and hear from them about their story with us. Here we have in front of us our quad pack. Guys, the Juice Plus Company, has a fantastic product line. It's small, it's focused, and if you look at these 4 bottles right here, this is going to be probably our most common thing that we see people start with. And this is our quad pack, and really when I tell people what is Juice Plus, it's just a juicing replacement. This company has found a very simple way to get a large quantity of a large variety of produce, fruits, vegetables, berries, grains, into our bodies every day. And really, again, what is juicing, but taken a couple of steps further. Our company removes the water, the sugar, the salt. We encapsulate the micronutrition, and we give that to people in a serving every day that'll cost you less than what you pay for your coffee. So it's economically viable for everybody who's serious about maintaining their health, and certainly we're in a day and time where all of us know that's important. But the thing that I love about Juice Plus is we're not really in competition with the supplement world. If you look at the back of our bottle, you'll see on the back here we've got a nutrition facts label. And nutrition facts are reserved for food. So many of us have supplement bottles all over our counter. And at first glance, a lot of times this stuff looks like the same thing. It in fact is not. Another thing that really separates us from everybody else out there, or anything in a bottle and a capsule for that matter, is our research. We got a lot of clinical data, and that attracts a very large medical community. So our company's not new. We've been around for a long time now, 50 years actually, 27 years with the Juice Plus product line. It's been a massive success, I think much more so than any of us would have ever dreamed of. My aunt has been with the company for 32 years. Some of you may know her. Her name is Cheryl. And got us all started me eating Juice Plus at about 10 years old. And the thing that I can say for my life, from a health standpoint, and for my family's life, is that really we've just all been blessed with tremendous health. My mother, my aunt, my father, all into their 60s and 70s, no prescription medication of any kind, up in the morning every day early, going hard all day long. A lot of times I feel like they even put me to shame, and then go to bed at night and get up and do it all over again the next day. And so just a ton of energy, a ton of vitality, no prescription medication. We don't go through that regular cold and flu season like everybody else does a lot of times. And so really I attribute that edge in our health to the Juice Plus products. And those products, while they've been tremendous for my family, they also have given my family tremendous business. We're all a part, I think most of us this evening are part of my Aunt Cheryl's organization. And together we all market about $10 million a month of this stuff around the world. So hats off to all of us this evening. We're all a part of that. I want to turn it over to Traci now. Traci is a national marketing director with her husband, who is an international marketing director. So they are at some of the very top levels of leadership with our company. Her and her team have come to us this evening. They are all going to share their Juice Plus stories, their product stories, their business stories, and give you all a wider perspective of what Juice Plus has to offer all of us. Go ahead, Traci. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Josh, and thank you, Carol, so much for inviting us to be a part of this, and really excited to get to share my story with you, and you get to hear some of my team stories. So I'll just jump right into it. My story, my health journey began in 1993 when Juice Plus first came out. My husband and I were dating at the time, and we just fell in love with the concept of Juice Plus from the very beginning. I remember thinking about, oh, wow, fruits and vegetables in a capsule. What a neat idea. And we already knew the company. We knew what a great company Juice Plus was, or the products they had already put out. And we were really eager to give Juice Plus a try. And even though I was 24 years old at the time, and I really didn't have any health issues, I didn't realize how bad I needed Juice Plus until I got on it. Prior to Juice Plus, I had dealt with getting sick a lot. And I just thought that's just the way it was. But what I noticed is over that first year of being on Juice Plus, that I went months, without getting sick. And then it was years in between not getting sick. So that was a huge difference for me in my health. And the other things that I noticed was that I was a big sugarholic. I loved sweets. I ate junk food and never really thought anything about it. But then after getting on Juice Plus, my taste buds changed and I started craving healthier foods. I wanted to feel better and to have healthier choices in my life. And that kind of leads up to the other thing, and I think it's the biggest change that happened for me in my life, is that I never really put any thoughts into what I was eating or consuming. But after getting on Juice Plus and craving healthier foods, I really started making that connection between you are what you eat. And if you want to be healthy, you've got to live healthy and you've got to put good things into your body. And so I made the choices to start being purposeful on what I was putting and what I was eating. And you know what? I really don't know if I would have had that thinking, that changing in my thinking, had it not been for Juice Plus. So Juice Plus was really a foundation for me to realize better health overall. So after being on Juice Plus for about 3 years, we started our family. And I think I have, if not the first, but maybe one of the first Juice Plus babies. I claim that. But I was so thankful to be on Juice Plus before pregnancy, during, and after pregnancy. I love the fact of knowing that I was flooding my body with all those nutritions of fruits and vegetables throughout my pregnancy and when I was nursing the babies up until a year. And I'll never forget, one of the biggest compliments that you can give a mom is the doctor to compliment you on their health, and taking the kids to their well checkups for the pediatric and him complimenting me on how well and how healthy they were. That was just like, that was the top of it. I don't know if you can get any better than that. Well, when I realized too that so many families were struggling, so many moms were struggling getting their kids to eat healthy. And then, when I saw how diabetes was on the rise in children, the number one vegetable was French fries. Are you kidding me? I became a mom on a mission, and I really, truly wanted to help other moms and other families realize what a benefit Juice Plus was for me and my family. And so I just wanted to share, my husband and I both, with everybody. And we did just that. And a lot of those people, they got it. They understood it and they enjoyed Juice Plus. Some of those people even joined my team. Well, if you read my bio, one of the things that I always wanted was, when I had my kids, I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom with them. With my Juice Plus business, by sharing and helping other families realize better health, it allowed me to be that stay-at-home mom. And that was a huge blessing for me and my family. Well, as my kids got a little bit older and it was time for them to go to school, I don't know if parents do this anymore, but we literally went around and interviewed the different schools to make a decision. And we decided on this small private school in our community. And it was a huge, sacrifice, but one kid wasn't so bad. We could do that. And that was a big choice for me. I wanted to be that stay-at-home mom and send our kids to the private school of our choice. And we were able to do that because of our Juice Plus business that we had. Now, eventually we had 3 kids in private school, so it was a little bit more of a sacrifice. But today we're down to 1 kid in 10th grade, so we're almost done with that. It's kind of like you get a pay raise every few years when you graduate. So, I know. So, but what I really kind of want to share with you too is, in that journey, you've always heard, make your kids your why, and that's so true. But what I really want to share with you is, share with your kids your why. Let them be part of that why, because what I did with my boys is they knew exactly what mom was working for. They knew exactly what I was trying to achieve, and that was to keep them in private school. And they understood that. And so they participated. They helped me do the dishes sometimes after supper so that I could go, do some of my follow-up calls. And they were quiet most of the time, not all the time, but they understood at their age what they could. And so that was our family thing. And then I guess a little bit of a twist in the story is, as they got older, and we're looking at 3 kids in middle school or even in private school, during all of that time, my husband was following his dream of opening up a business, Reeves Custom Coaches. It's an RV sales and service business. And what was able to do that was our Juice Plus income. We lived out of our Juice Plus business while he created another business that today is 20 years old itself, and it's a thriving business. But if it was not for the Juice Plus business supporting us, we would not have been able to start that other RV business as well. But where we were at in our business at the time is we were one step below making national marketing director for many, many years. As a matter of fact, we've been in that position for so long, I'd given up on ever making national marketing director. And we needed that. We needed that insurance. We needed that, the benefits package plan. We needed all those things. And I went to an event similar like this, where you hear people sharing their stories. And I went and I heard this lady share her story. And I'll never forget this. She was a stay-at-home mom, just like me. She had 5 kids, so she had more kids than I did. And she even made her own bread. Go figure. But she made national marketing director in like a year. And I was like, are you kidding me? What am I missing? You know? And I remember I went back home to Fred and I was like, Fred, this is ridiculous. We have got to do this. We're just one position away. And it's the answer to everything that we need. And he was like, I know, I've been trying to tell you that. I was like, I know. So it was just a come to Jesus moment for me, because in that time, I almost really started looking for a job. I started thinking about, maybe I need to go back to school. Maybe I need to do something, because I love my Juice Plus business, but it wasn't providing. As our family was growing, our needs were growing. We needed insurance. We needed more. And so I had to make a decision. And I went there and I heard that story and I thought, we already have the answer. And so I shared it with my team, what my goal was, and I shared it with my kids. You got to remember, we've been at this position for about 10 years. And so I really felt stuck where I was at, but just looked in the mirror and said, if it's to be, it's up to me. And went to work, treated it like a business, grew it. And I'll never, ever forget standing in the kitchen and getting that call. Why does everything happen when you're in the kitchen? But I got that call from Elton Dubose and saying, Traci, you made national marketing director. And it's a call that will change your life. I'm telling you, it was everything my family needed. And I guess the thing that stands out to me the most that I'll never forget is my oldest son, Hunter, was standing there and he said, Mom, I always knew you could do it. And every time I share that, I get choked up, because my kids were there with me from the very beginning. They cheered me on. They saw me fail. They saw me get up. And it's just been a beautiful thing for us to achieve that in 2012 and to be everything that my family needed. So I'm so thankful to be a part of a company that's given my family the ability to dream. I'm thankful for a product that's changed my family's health forever. And I'm thankful for the team that I get to work with. I mean, some of these people are my best friends. I mean, it's like if we didn't do Juice Plus, we would still go on vacation together, right, girls? Because
Yes.
we have so much fun together. And I love being with them. They are my sisters on a mission now. And I want you to get to hear from some of them tonight and hear their stories. And so one of the ones I want to introduce to you is Rita Meeks. She's in North Carolina. She is a smart business lady, and I'm so glad she's on my team. So Rita, I'm going to turn it over to you and let you share your story as well.
Thank you so much, Traci, and I always love hearing your story. And thank you for inviting me to share my story tonight. It's very much an honor. And so my Juice Plus journey started many, many years ago. Probably, wow, it's been a while when I was first introduced to Juice Plus. But I actually started taking the product 11 years ago. And when I was introduced to it, I'll be honest with you, I was a little skeptical because I really thought I ate enough fruits and vegetables. But I got started on it, and at the same time, one of my coworkers as well started on it. And I have to say, when we had been taking it for a while, we both seen a difference in our energy levels. We just really discussed it. And we were those girls that needed that Diet Pepsi at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, you know, we got to where we didn't do that anymore because we had the energy. So we didn't need that pep at that 4 o'clock, you know, when you felt like you need something to pep you up. But the thing is when I started taking Juice Plus, I also signed up as a rep, and that was in 2009. And my sponsor, Terry, said, let's do an event for you. And so we did an event at my spa, and I had probably 8-9 people come, and actually 5 people signed up to take the product. And, you know, I really didn't know what that meant or really what, you know, that represented, because I didn't do anything after that. I kept taking Juice Plus though, but I didn't do anything with the business. But fast forward to 2015, I was, we had a lot of tragedy in our family, actually. My husband lost his mother very unexpectedly. I had lost an employee actually that took her life, and actually I had a hysterectomy, and my parents actually divorced after 50 years of marriage. So I had no alternative than to look to God. And that day, sitting in my chair, saying my prayers, God just placed it on my heart to go to this boot camp that I'd been asked to numerous of times. More times than I care to even mention, actually, and I never did go. But God placed it on my heart that day to go. So I called Terry and asked her when it was. Well, it was 2 weeks away. So I said, I want to go. So we went, and I was blown away because I got to hear Dr. Jan Roberto. And, you know, she just really opened my eyes to what this product was, that in fact that it was, you know, a product that she's seen that was beneficial for her patients, and she recommended to her patients, and she went through the science of it, and that just really struck a chord with me. I was like, oh my gosh, I am meant to be here. There is a purpose for me to be at the Paget's boot camp. And then I got to hear some of the people from corporate, and I got to hear some, you know, people that were starting kind of like I was and had been in the business for a while. And, you know, I really seen the big picture that day. I just felt that this was exactly the community that I needed to be around and surround myself with. It was the positive community that I really longed for at that period in my life. And this is something that I could take and go back and share with other people that was going to actually impact their health. So the first thing I did when I got back home from the Paget's boot camp is I started sharing it. I first of all shared it with my husband because I felt kind of guilty that I had been taking it so long and I had never shared it with him. So he started taking it, and he said, you know, Rita, Dad really needs this. He said, you know, he really needs it because his mom had passed away. His dad was home and really not eating the way he needed to be eating. He was diabetic. So he called his dad, and his dad said, sure, sign me up. Well, I was really surprised by that because, you know, it was so easy. And, but lo and behold, come to find out 6 months later, the reason he was so apt to sign up, so he used to walk 5 miles a day, and he had quit walking, and we didn't know about this, but he had quit walking because he was out of breath. And he had not shared it with any of us. And he went to his checkup 6 months later, and they didn't even let him come home from the hospital. They kept him and did open heart surgery the very next day. So he had had Juice Plus in his body for 6 months prior to that. And to look at the studies on what it does to the arteries and how it helps the blood flow through your arteries, the fruits and vegetables, and open up the vascular restrictions, I knew that us sharing that with him possibly saved his life. So that was like, wow, you know, again, there was my purpose for being there and sharing this product. And then we got my mom on it. Results were fantastic with her. She's also diabetic, and she had so many wonderful things that happened with her health. I'm not even going to go into it, but there was a lot of wonderful things that changed for her and her health. And I have story after story of sharing this product with people and hearing about their benefits. And that has been so heartwarming for me that I've been able to share something that can help people. So I'm going to fast forward now to this day and time. So what happened after 5 years of being in the business is that there had always been a prayer that I had prayed that I would be able to be close to my parents one day to help take care of them. And this past June, we actually made a move back to my hometown. And if it was not for the Juice Plus business and the income that I have created during this time, that was a safety net for us to make this move. I was able to cut my hours in half at my spa, and I was able to make this move and be secure enough that we would have that extra income that I was dropping from my spa business. So, you know, that unspoken prayer that I'd prayed for so long came true because of the Juice Plus business. I'm a skincare specialist, and I know that this product benefits the skin in so many ways. The studies are there, and I have seen it time and time again with my clients, and we've seen their skin improve so much with, you know, Juice Plus. And for your vanity, that is awesome. But I always tell people that Juice Plus, when it works on the skin, and you can see that in the skin is the last to receive the nutrients. Everything else, you know, our organs, the insides, everything else is going to receive those nutrients. And if you can notice it in the skin, it's amazing what it's probably doing inside the body. We know that it works, and it's bioavailable, and it gets into the bloodstream. So it can do some amazing things inside the body, and it does help the skin. But what I like to finish off with is I'd like to tell people that 5 years ago, you know, we always in this business, we were kind of like, you know, just tell your story. 5 years ago was so hard for me to tell my story. I didn't really have a story. I had a story. I didn't share the story because the story was painful. But hold on to what this can do for you as far as your health. And if you're looking for a way to financially become a little bit better off, then take a look at this too, because in 5 years, my story has turned around in such a way that it's allowed me to be able to live out what I desired in my heart. And that was all through the grace of God, and for Him placing me to the point where I knew I needed to go hear what I heard that day at the Paget's boot camp. So I'd like to introduce my friend and just an amazing person, Ann Brazzel. Ann joined my team, and I have to say I am so happy she joined my team because she has made my life so much more fun. She is an awesome person. She's probably got more passion in her big toe than most people have in their whole body. So, and if you know who Ashley Hudson is, we actually think that she is her sister from another mister. So, Ann, I'm going to let you take it away.
Oh my gosh, I had this big thing all done, and I'm just going to go on the wing. I'm sorry. So, Rita, thank you so much for introducing me, and I can honestly say I am so deeply happy that I am in this group and you asked me to be there. And let's talk about the boot camp. So, for me, when I was at Rita's spa, she had these gorgeous display of all these fruits, vegetables, berries, and omegas and everything. And of course, I was looking for fish oil because I can't stand the fish oil, you know, taste and all of it. I just don't like it. And I have tried everything. So I was talking to Rita and whatnot. A couple months went by, and finally I decided to order. So I ordered fruits, vegetables, berries, and the omegas, and did the same for my husband. Came home, called my mom, she ordered them, called my girlfriend who had macular degeneration, she ordered them. So Rita says, well, you know, Ann, you might as well just join up. I'm like, no, thank you. I don't want to join up. I have my interior design business, my HVAC business, and I've got more to do than I can do. Well, Ann, if you sign up, you're going to have this discount, and you're going to be able to get in the back door and look at it. I said, okay, fine, I'll sign up. So I signed up. So this was literally 6 or 7 days before boot camp. And she goes, you know, Ann, I have a boot camp ticket. I said, I'm not doing the business. She goes, okay. So anyway, I'm supposed to go with my son that particular weekend, the same weekend. He was at the Citadel, and it was homecoming weekend. And, you know, I was supposed to go. So I called him to confirm. And I just had tears running down my face when he said to me, you know, Mom, you know, I kind of want to be with my friends. So would that be okay? And I'm like, oh, it's so fun. It's just fun. So anyway, I called Rita back and said, I'm going. She goes, what? I said, I'm going to boot camp. She goes, oh my God, I'm so excited. I said, yeah, me too. So anyway, we went. And I want to tell you, I promise you, that changed my life. Not just what I heard from Dr. David Phillips. And I have to tell you, for those people who know me, I have always said, hey, doctors treat symptoms. They don't know a dang thing about anything else. If you didn't tell them what was wrong, they tell you were fine. So anyway, they don't know anything about nutrition. It was kind of my thing. And I promise you, Dr. David Phillips looked dead at me and he said, in med school, and this is a Harvard grad, top 1% of his class, med school, 0.5% of his class. I mean, complete nerd. He looked right at me and he said, in med school, I was never taught nutrition. I said, Rita, did you hear him? Did you hear him? So that changed my life. I knew right then I was in. So coming back home, they would rag me that I was girl on fire, and I was stupid girl on fire because I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I still can't tell you what the compensation plan is from A to Z. I can tell you a little bit about it, but I have really enjoyed sharing this. And my journey actually started in the 80s when my dad had quadruple bypass surgery. He was in his 50s and he died in his 60s with colon cancer. All three of my brothers suffer from heart disease. One has pacemaker, the other one has stents and diabetic, arthritis, and I am actually one of the only ones who do not share that fate so far. So I want to do everything I can not to. But things kind of progressed on December the 4th, 2013, when my baby brother died at 42, needing a heart transplant. So I already knew that this was so very important. So I decided that I was going to give Juice Plus 100% of my attention, and I have done so. And the research, it's all there. It's a fantastic product. I believe in it with all my heart and soul. My family says, Ann, if you vomit Juice Plus on me one more time, I am going to scream. But I promise you, I try to share this product with everybody I know because I believe in it 100%. And I will always wonder in my heart, if my dad had had this or my brother, how would their life have been? And I'll never know. But one thing I do know is anyone that I care about, and if you haven't heard from me, you're going to, because I'm going to reach out to you. I'm going to talk to you. And like Rita, I'm so thankful for the relationships that I have built in this business. And I've had the opportunity to get to know some of the most wonderful people. And y'all are all sisters, definitely in Christ with me. And I appreciate you more than I will ever be able to tell you. And one of the things I will also say about the pageant boot camp, that particular weekend that I was there, I watched 3 people get saved. And when you go to a place to do business and you're also doing God's business, that's the place I need to be. So I just want to say in closing that I am very happy that I became a part of this. And I sincerely hope that each of you give us a chance to enrich your life and your body in the same way it has mine. And thank you so much for letting me share my story tonight. I love you all, guys.
Thank you, Ann. And we're going to move on real quickly. We're running short on time. So Wendy, if you can just, in a couple of minutes, share your story. We're going to run to Diane in California. We'll close it out. Okay. Thank you.
My husband was sitting next to me saying, slow down, don't talk so fast. But I've just been given license to talk fast. So I was a nurse for over a decade and had no clue that produce, food, could do anything for your health. And then I was introduced to Juice Plus at a very critical time in my life. I had a head-on collision and I had a neck injury that was so bad that they had to fuse me. But even post-op, I was in so much pain and inflammation that I literally could not work. So I heard a doctor talk about Juice Plus and the anti-inflammatory component of it and how it affected her patient base. So I thought, hey, it prompted me to start on Juice Plus. Needless to say, it was like a dimmer switch. It literally dimmed my pain down so that in 6 months, I was pain-free and was able to start back to work full-time. The published peer-reviewed research was so compelling, I became a partner with Juice Plus, and I shared it with family, friends, clients. I don't know if anybody knows, but basically nutraceuticals, things that are healthy, don't have peer-reviewed research. Generally, it's just in-house. It's not peer-reviewed. It's not published. It's not, doesn't stand on its own. So it was very impressive to me, and it is the most published brand name product in the world. I shared it with so many people, and they were so blessed. My mother was blessed. My kids were blessed. My kids didn't miss school because they were on Juice Plus. They never were taken out of school for being sick. They were taken out of school so we could leave on vacation early. My mom, her doctors started calling her pulmonologist and said, you know, who did you change to? We'll send your records over to them. And she says, I haven't changed doctors. I've just been taking this Juice Plus, and I've been so healthy, I haven't needed you. My nephew, he went on Juice Plus, and he had asthma, allergies, and he was slow to growth. He was 5 years older than my son, and he was shorter. So he got on the product. In 5 months, he was off his breathing treatment, off his Claritin, and started to grow, and he caught up with his cousin. So he was thrilled. My girlfriend had a daughter who also had issues. She was flunking the 2nd grade. We got her on Juice Plus. Her mother caught her standing on the counter in the kitchen, sneaking more Juice Plus. And needless to say, Jordan passed the 2nd grade and self-taught herself sign language and was doing it at church. I could go on, but I've been shortened on my storytelling. So I will move on to how it's not only helped me in health and my friends and family in health, but it's helped me in my finances. At first, it paid for my car payment, and then I've gone on to, it now pays my mortgage. Personally, it's been probably the best advantage. That's because I've met the best friends. They're as quality as the product and as the company. And they've journeyed with me through thick and thin, and I wouldn't want to experience life without them. They are definitely a godsend, as the pageants have been, and the rest of my team. And I encourage you all to take a good look at Juice Plus.
Thank you, Wendy. That's so sweet. And we're going to move on quickly now to Diane, is in Tustin, California. And Diane, I'm going to let you jump in and share your story real quickly, okay? You're muted, Diane.
Okay, hi. Thank you so much, Traci. And it really is a blessing to be part of this amazing team. There's so much value in that alone. So I started Juice Plus. I became a representative, and I started Juice Plus on the same day about 6+ years ago. I'd learned about it when I became a certified health coach with Dr. Sears Wellness Institute, and I'd heard about it there. And then I started working with this amazing group of doctors who believe in functional medicine, and they were all about Juice Plus. And oh, wow, I was just on board because I could see the results in patients' blood tests, very ill patients getting better. It was truly amazing. Then I've always been a healthy eater, so for myself, not a lot of difference, but it gives me the security of like health. It feels like health insurance to me. So I really like that. It's made a huge difference in my husband's life. My 91-year-old dad wouldn't be a day without it. And when his doctor said, your blood tests are amazing, what's going on? He said, well, it must be this Juice Plus stuff my daughter has me on. And the doctor said, well, absolutely, I take it too. It's amazing. And she said, you need to be on the omegas. Are you on the omegas? And he said, no. So he called me immediately after the doctor's appointment and got on those as well. So it's really cute. It helps all of his aches and pains. He's walking better, and he's got bad knees, and just inflammation is fantastic. I have a new grandson who's a Juice Plus baby. My other grandson is 9, and he will not eat a vegetable, but his health is amazing. And I think it's because he overdoses on Juice Plus capsules and gummies, both he takes, and it's been fantastic. So just really, really quickly, the business has been a fantastic blessing. It's really made an impact in me being able to just save for certain things like property taxes, which we have in California, they're so high, and many, many other things. And it just keeps growing. And it's so easy to share because it's just fruits and vegetables, and everyone knows they need more. So it's just been a blessing all around. I could go on and on and on, but my biggest passion, my biggest why is because you can't be all God created you to be if you're not the best you, and you've got to be healthy to do all that you were created to be. So that's my big why, in addition to all the great things. So thank you so much. And I'd love to talk more. I could go for hours, but I really appreciate your time. And thank you all for your support.
Oh, thank you all. So I guess I'll turn it back over to Josh or Carol. Thank you for allowing us to share our stories.
You guys have amazing stories. We're here every Thursday night sharing our stories, talking about Juice Plus, how it helps us in the health department and the finance department, a company on a mission to inspire healthy living around the world. So join us next Thursday. We'll be here again sharing these stories. You guys, thank you. We really appreciate your stories and your sharing tonight. I'm going to stop the